So glad it's Friday. I say that every week.
It's been such a weird week for me because I've had like kind of 2 half days off because we have Royal Shrovetide that takes place here in Ashbourne, which is just mental. And so it felt like the weirdest week. You know what I mean? Like you're all out of sorts.
Yeah. You feel like you haven't had a productive week.
Yeah, definitely. Don't feel like I've had a productive week. I'm just playing catch up at the moment. Right, so we are live on Instagram and we should be live on YouTube today. And we're going to be talking about building a future-proof virtual assistant business in an AI world. I can hear a pinging. Where's that coming from?
It's my watch. Let me take it off.
Kirsty's here to ruin the day. Only joking, of course she's not. So I'm just going to be checking the comments. We don't normally have any comments on YouTube, but I will just make sure that we're checking that as well, just in case. You never know. Let's log in and take a look. We've talked about AI, I feel, a lot recently, but I kind of feel like it's still necessary.
Yeah, I do. I think it's... But the thing of it is, though, is that there's so many off balances, isn't there? Like people do go to AI for blog writing, to write their emails and that kind of thing. But I do think that AI can never take that client relationship side away from anybody, because humans trust humans with sensitive information like passwords and the intros to their business and their infrastructure and all of that kind of thing, which AI just won't do, or can do, but people just don't trust it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And actually, I'm going to talk about that a little bit today, because I think that we're focusing so much on AI coming, we're not thinking about the people that aren't embracing AI at all. It's kind of interesting. I've been asked to speak at an event, an AI summit on the 3rd of March. I think it's the 3rd of March. And part of the reason is to encourage small business owners to embrace AI, because they're not utilizing it at all. So it's really kind of funny, because there is still a market of people that don't want to use it and probably won't. And we're talking so much about, well, if you don't, then you're going to get left behind. But are you? Maybe not. So we'll talk about that today. I personally feel like AI, I'm scared in some ways for the future of humankind, not for my job. I feel like as long as we embrace it and we get ahead of it and we learn how to utilize it, I think that our jobs will be safe, because like you've just said, you'll always need that human interaction. You will always need that human person making sure everything's done properly. I don't think that's going to be replaced anytime soon, because you will always need people to operate the AI, so to speak. But I do worry about the global threat, and that we are going to literally, the world as we know it in our lifetime is going to change, and that is terrifying.
I think so as well, and I think it is coming. Nobody knows when it's coming, but it is coming. And I think I'm still a bit skeptical about the whole AI thing anyway. I use it a lot for kind of social media content ideas and things like that, but I'm still a bit nervous about it. And if things like that, I don't like change anyway. But things like that terrify me. Like, how far is somebody going to possibly go to? How far is it going to go?
Well, when I was listening to a recent podcast, they were talking about, AI is used in driverless cars in San Francisco, and that's going to be rolled out. And once that is rolled out there across America, it will be rolled out everywhere. And then the first job market to go will be the drivers. So delivery drivers and people like that, taxi drivers. And this has happened in history before. Before farming machines, there were manual workers that had to go and use like thrashers and things like that, and they were one of the first things to be taken, and there was uproar and violence when that happened. And so the likelihood is that history does repeat itself in new ways, like the Industrial Revolution, and the technology of when the internet started to be used and everyone was terrified of that. It kind of settled down, but AI, I think, is just such a different ball game. It's going to replace surgeons. It's just going to do so much. But I do think that we will still be needed as people. I do.
But realistically, though, I mean, actually think about it. Imagine a brain surgeon, right? imagine in 20 years' time, you go in to have a brain operation or whatever, and you haven't got a human being saying everything's going to be okay. This is what I'm going to do. You've got, remember that film? What was it called with the robot in it? Kind of was Short Circuit. Imagine that kind of. Do you know what I mean? It'd be like, you are now here, rather than like that.
I've got a feeling they will not look like those robots.
That's how I see it, though. That's how I envisage it. I don't know why. It's just how my brain works. But there's got to be something there, hasn't it? It can't just be like a computer. There will be something there with arms or whatever.
Yeah, it will be. And it will probably...
how I see it.
Probably be human-like at some point as well, which is terrifying. I know
that's creepy, man.
I know it is a bit creepy, but also I think we aren't in these like Silicon Valley areas where we're seeing what the new technology looks like. We're just looking at things like ChatGPT and Claude and going, oh, and that makes mistakes. These things are going to be like infallible. They will be 100% almost perfect, but staying with it, we still think we're going to need humans. So if you're tuning in and listening, let us know your opinion on AI. Do you think that that VAs are going to be replaced, or do you think we're still going to be very much needed? I think that AI is now here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's massively beneficial, AI and automation. I don't think I could have scaled our VA business without it, because too many of those tasks would be manual. And what I tend to do now is every single time I have to do a project or a task, or if there's something I've got to achieve, the first thing I say is there must be an AI way to do that. Or there must be an automated way to do that. And then I'll go find that way, because it's just going to make my life so much easier. It's going to make me so much more productive. So I do think for boosting efficiency, it's good for that. And I don't think it's not going to replace me, because I'm the person that needs to go and do it and make it
happen. That's the thing, isn't it? And it's like we started with a new client this week, and they sent us like some messages and stuff. And the way she'd done it, she'd obviously done it through AI, but I couldn't really get my head around it. So I kind of put it into ChatGPT with none of her details, whatever. It was just the content. And I said, can you explain this to me like I'm a complete idiot? Which I say to everybody. And I said, pick out the tasks rather than using all the other information that's non-relevant to me. And it just pulled it through and put it into a task list and explained it to me. And then AI can't then implement that for me. They can't do that lead generation. That then comes back to me. So I think there is a point where people are going to go, it's only going to go so far in terms of personal, relationship building, client relationships that we have. There's some of my clients won't even touch AI. One of my clients uses AI. He ain't got a clue what he's doing. He sends me all this crap over. This is what we're good. And I'm like, you don't know how to use it. Stop asking it questions.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I do have clients that go, oh, I put this through AI and here's the email chain. The thing is now, I would be advising people, especially VAs, especially business owners, not to use AI to write your emails. Everybody can tell now it's making you inauthentic. You're showing up as not your true self. People don't trust that. People don't trust you. Look, I don't write any of my emails using AI anymore. I was, when it was all first, oh, this is exciting. Now, and I love writing, and I found that I'd lost my creative way. Like, I was really good with words, and suddenly I can't find words anymore. So I write them myself. Same as AI headshots. It doesn't show who you really are. And do you know what's really annoying me at the moment? You've got this new character thing. You can characterize yourself, and there's a picture, and but then I'm seeing it like people are using everyday AI images of themselves. I'm like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Just be you. Just be that person who's a bit scruffy in the morning and the makeup's not perfect and your hair's a freaking mess. And do you know what I mean? Like, just be you, because that's what we want. That's what we need.
Right. Imagine this. This is how I see things like this, right? Imagine you're on a dating site, right? You upload a picture of you 10 years ago, right? You're slimmer, you're younger, your skin's a little bit more healthy, right, in this photo. You turn up to that date and you're a little bit wider, a little bit older, and a little bit grayer. That person's going to go, you're what I originally spoke to.
Sorry, 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. It's only Grace. 1 minute. Sorry, I know we're on a live podcast and all that, but
life does happen.
But life does happen. We always say that, me and Kirsty. We're not perfectly polished.
Exactly. But that's my point, right? So imagine going on that date and you turn up and you're there's resemblance to that picture. That person's going to go, you're not the person I was going to meet. So why would you put a false picture up of yourself? That client's going to go, oh, immediately. That for me is off-putting because that's a lie.
Yeah, it's a lie. So what else are you lying about?
What are you lying about? That is a trust breaker straight off.
Straight away. No, I totally agree with that. And that's why when we do things, it's not perfect. It is as it is. And I just think people appreciate that more, and we need to be more honest and open about things now. And yeah, that's annoying me. It's just too much. It's like in your face all the bloody time, and I couldn't even be bothered to sit there putting in a prompt that says make me this perfectly beautiful characterized version of what I look like. If I went and had one of those done in the street in Spain, trust me, I'd look like a twat. I would not look so beautiful.
Honestly.
Yeah, but I do think AI is brilliant for VA for VAs. What is going on? For automating. So I love, me. We were on a call yesterday with a client. I could feel myself getting overexcited about automation. And I was thinking, I need to tone this down a bit. It looks like I'm a proper geek. But I do love I do love to automate because I love the problem solving side of it and going, oh, how can I make that work? How can I make that happen? But it means that loads of things are just routine because I'm not, look, I even said yesterday on that call with the client, there's so many things that are automated in my business I forget, and sometimes it does actually cause me problems, and it did this week because an email went out that shouldn't have done because I forgot about a process. So always document your processes, but it's brilliant for that. You don't have to just think about it how to use it for your clients, you can think about how to use it for you as well. So like scheduling, your social media posting, your data entry. I think you need to just focus on how AI frees you up to do higher value, more creative and strategic work for clients. I'll give you an example. We've just moved away from, I was using Buzzsprout and Restream for our podcasts, but now I'm using Riverside. At the end of this podcast, it was taking me ages because I do all my editing myself. At the end of this podcast live, it will literally edit out the ums, the arms, the fluff, the things that are nothing to do with the podcast. It can automatically find it, cuts them out, it's edited in seconds, and give me slices of clips that I can use to repurpose. That is the benefit of AI. And you don't have to do that just for yourself. You could literally say to a client, why don't you host in Riverside, or give them the advice on where to host to make their lives easier, but you help with, repurposing that content. So if you imagine, like, if you was working for a client for 10 hours a month, but utilizing AI, you can reduce that time down to 5. You're still charging them 10, because your expertise is valuable, so you can still make the price, or the price is still high enough to receive that 10-hour value. But you can now fit 2 clients in that one. So it can be really beneficial for virtual assistants.
It can be as well. And I think, when we've had meetings and stuff and we've done transcriptions and things like that, and you're right, there is a lot of, I had a call with a client this week, and for about the first 25 minutes, we just talked a load of crap about the weather and our kids and, what we're doing at the weekend, all that. So you can actually ask it to remove all of that, just do the points for the meeting notes, ask it to do task, who's got to do that task, and then send it to the client. Whereas before, if we had a recording, it'd be stop. So do you remember that client we had when we did that transcription? We were sat there for about 11 hours, weren't we? Just like
terrible. It was,
and
we wanted to cry.
We were 11 o'clock at night. We were still sat there, weren't we? Like this. When is this ever going to end?
Yeah, it was awful.
Now with AI, you can just go, can you do this? Put this into it, but add the note, add the speakers in, that kind of thing, saving you so much time.
There's even, you can buy these like necklaces that record what's happening. Now, I don't know how I feel about this, right? I went to like a networking event the other day, and a woman was wearing one, and I was like, what's that? But now I kind of had an idea because I've seen them, and she told me, she said, because I always forget. And I thought, I don't know how I feel about you recording a networking event conversation that I'm having with you, which is probably going to be quite personal. That's different, and it should come with a disclaimer. But I do think they are good. If you had a VA just sitting with you in your minutes of the meeting, they could be just making notes, but no, everything's captured that way, and it automatically gets sent to a computer. It's just, for the small investment that's going to cost, you could be wearing one of those in a meeting. You could be an in-person VA charging, a premium because you're in person, but just wearing this necklace, and then it's going to take you no time at all to do the work. So really thinking about how the technology can make you so much more efficient that you can earn more money on the back of it, which is why I think you need to continuously upskill when it comes to AI. As a VA, you need to keep learning more and more about it and what it can do.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I do actually ask it what it can do for me, like a certain situation, and it will tell me exactly how to do it. So it's I'm asking it a question about AI, and then it asks me, tells me how I can do it.
It's unbelievable. And the other thing is, we say this a lot, just commit to use it, to learning one new tool a month, one thing that you can do. I've just released have you had a play with it yet? I did ask you to. So I've just released. Right, no. You're getting more and more useless by the day. I don't know what I keep you around for. So I have just released Lisa VA. This is the AI version of me, right? It's been trained as a coach for virtual assistants, and when you buy the monthly subscription for our CRM system, which is bespoke for virtual assistants, or join the VIP Access membership, and you get it as part of that. In there, you get Lisa VA, and it's an AI coaching version of me where you get coaching for free, and it's been trained on the PACE model. It's been trained in my tone and to empower you as a VA to find answers. So it's not like your normal ChatGPT, and that's been built out using an AI agent. And you could get really good at building out AI agents for people, because a lot of people don't know how to do it, and then just learn how to do that and approach people and say, did you know that you could do more with your business if you offered like an AI version of you? So loads of people are doing this now, especially coaches, where you could be giving somebody an additional add-on to a package that they've bought with you, or to a coaching program, or to a membership, because they've got this AI agent of you as well. So it's loads of people are doing this because it's pre-trained. So that's one thing you can do. The other day I started using Claude instead, which is very impressive, very, very impressive. And I asked it for some ideas, because one of the things we do is we sell. I hate saying it like that, but it is what we do. Our kind of gateway to our services, now we've moved into the OBM space and strategic space, is that people need to buy a strategic plan before we work with them, because it's like you can't have a business without a strategy. That's kind of the bubble wrap around your business. And so it's getting more and more difficult to work with people that just don't have a strategy. So if they come to me like that, I'm like, you need to have a strategy blueprint session with me first, and then we can decide how to work together thereafter. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if there was a way to kind of demonstrate to clients before they work with us how that could look? Because what we do on the back of the strategy is we give them a 3-month implementation plan. And so I asked Claude, and it created one for me, right? So I said, I re-prompted it and said, oh, can you do it in our branding colors and make it interactive? Oh my God, go to ltbusinessmanagement.com, head to the business strategy blueprint page, and see the interactive example. And that was created in seconds on Claude, and it's just brilliant. So now on the back of that, I was like, oh, that'd be brilliant, because at the moment what I'm using when I do the implementations is just like a document or a spreadsheet that says what we're doing each month. I said, can you create me a portal on the back of that it looks like that, and the clients can log in? So it can't create it, but it can tell me how to do it using things like Firebase. So I'm in the middle of actually coding my own app, right, to actually use this with clients using, Claude. So I think the point is, you used to have to know about stuff, but now you can just learn anything and get really good at it, and you should be.
That's the thing, isn't it? And it's like I say, if I'm not sure about something, I always run it through my chat GPT, but I'm going to have a look at Claude, because there's some things that I've got to do for a client that I've got no idea how to do it, and I need it to go. I always say to my ChatGPT, just explain it to me like I'm an idiot, and it does, and that's not being, knocking myself or anything like that, but that's the best way that I learn. So I'm going to try that, Claude, then, if you recommend it. Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit limited in the sense you have to pay. Like, you don't have to pay, but if you pay for it, you get more out of it. Was it went into code version? A load of it'd slow down, and I had to wait like a couple of hours to use it, which is a bit of a bitch, but it was still worth it. And it has the desktop version where you can get it to clean your desktop and do all sorts in your desktop. It can go through your files and everything. So I was like, oh my god, I've got to try this out.
You need that.
Really only no, it's fine. We're really only scratching the surface, aren't we, when it comes to things like that. But I do think if you can become the go-to VA that's ahead of the time, the solutions, that is going to be so powerful. And all you have to do is like literally, over a weekend or when you've got quiet time, YouTube it, sit and learn something in particular. There's loads of podcast VAs out there. Why would you waste your time sitting and listening to someone's podcast when you could totally use AI to edit it? Totally.
Yeah.
There's so many tools out there now.
Yeah, but I think, again, there's that fear factor, isn't there? People are worried about personal information and things like that, and people extracting voices and, stuff like that. I mean, we had an incident, I told you a couple of weeks ago, where my partner got scammed because he'd had a message from his daughter and she needed X amount of, thousands of pounds sending to her because she had to pay a debt. He fell for the trap because
I didn't know this.
I told you.
You didn't?
You're not.
No.
So he got a message from his daughter, Jade, to say, Dad, I'm really sorry. My phone's broken, right? My phone's broken. I'm probably not going to do AI any justice here, but I need £1,300 because I've got to pay the rent on the flat and I don't have it because my phone's broken. I can't get into my internet banking. Can you send it to this person's bank account, sort code, right?
And he fell for that.
He sent it.
Oh, God. Why didn't he ring her? He must
know. Because he said, I said, what's the matter? You look really pale. And he went, I've done something. And I'm like, I'm great. And he's like, I sent £1,300 to Jade. And I'm like, right. And he's like, yeah, but it wasn't Jade. And I'm like, what?
Sugar. And did he get that back? Did the bank refund?
Only just. They charged him £100 for being a twat.
Honestly, it's so scary, and the worst ones are the ones where it just sound like that person. Yeah. So I think as you're using AI tools, your policies and processes need to also grow with that. I mean, we implemented an AI usage policy really early on when it was just really coming out, didn't we, in our VA business, because I understood the complexities of putting client data into AI, and so we wanted to make clients aware that we're not doing that and we don't do that, but also for our associates to understand that they can't do that either. So you do have to be so careful. And we've even said, if a client sends you a message asking for something, and you're not sure, make sure you have an actual physical phone call with them. And probably go far as to say have a video call with them, because even voice isn't, you can't be sure of it anymore.
This is the thing, and they actually got, because what he'd done a couple of days previous to that, he'd done the caricature thing and put in, can you do a caricature of me and Jade, my daughter Jade, at the, what was it, I don't know, Star Wars event or something. So it'd done that, they'd extracted that information, and that's how they scammed him.
Did he, when he posted about it, say me and my daughter Jade?
He put, can you, me and my daughter Jade, that's what he put.
That's the problem, isn't it? When we share information, we secretly, you don't realise that you're giving away passwords and things, actually, because a lot of people use their kids' names as passwords and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just terrifying, is that?
Dickhead.
But we were saying earlier that we don't think that, human skills might be replaced, but the human focus certainly can't be. And relationship building, empathy, you're not going to be able to get empathy in a legitimate way from AI. You can make it sound empathetic, and creative problem solving. AI is a learning machine, so it's learned from what's already out there, but being innovative and thinking of your, your own new unique problem solving, well, that's something it can't give you, because it has to learn that from you. So, and communication, so all of those things you can totally still offer and people still need, and you can remind people. So if you're getting barriers, you're meeting with clients and perhaps potential clients, and they're saying, oh, I could do that with ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, then you could be saying, yeah, but can it build a relationship with you? Is it going to give you the empathy it needs? Does it communicate effectively? And what about creative problem solving? And you can kind of come back with those kind of things to make them think.
Yeah, and I think as well, like phone calls and stuff is really big, because one of my clients, I think we've talked about it before. We had the conversation. He was going through a bit of a sticky time with cash flow, and he said, I'm going to reduce the telephone side of it and let the AI bot do it through his CRM, which is similar to ours, but it's just called something else. And within about 24 hours, he'd phoned me and said, no, I'm not doing that, because when the calls were being taken from potential clients, the name of the company was not said correctly, and it was very like claggy and didn't really answer the questions properly. And he was like, I need that personal touch. So phone calls, credit control, anything you can possibly think of that's got that personal touch is what you should be focusing on, because that's what's going to keep you in the game.
Yeah, definitely keep that personal touch and remind clients that they're going to need it as well for their customers. If you turn your whole business into AI, you've lost the customer service approach, and people still want that. I still want that. I want to know that when I've signed up to something for a service or whatever, or a subscription, I'm going to be able to speak to someone. I hate it when there's no phone number, there's no chat bot, there's just literally no way you can speak to someone. It's really annoying, and I think that's going to win. Having that in place is going to win, and so many big companies are getting rid of it.
I know, and I think also like that pinging a minute ago was my phone with a client, so I know something's gone wrong. She's panicking about something, right? Because there's like 5 voice notes, which is very unlike her. So AI, would they be able to respond as quickly, get back to her as quickly, help her as quickly, resolve that situation, and give that kind of sympathy that, don't worry, I've got it, I'll fix it, whatever's happened. So I don't think clients always want to have somebody they can go, shit, this has happened, I don't know what to do. Whereas AI would go, okay, let's break it down, kind of thing. So clients will like to have that personal person at the end of the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And I think if you can get ahead of that and recognize that as VAs, remind clients of that, you're going to be safe almost. If anyone listening wants to put any questions or any opinions that they've got, please post them. We'd love to be able to talk openly with you about this, what your thoughts are on AI, and are you embracing it or not? I think the other thing is you can utilize AI for proactivity, so spotting opportunities to streamline operations using AI, but also not using AI to be proactively spotting problems that maybe you can address faster than an AI can do, because an AI needs a prompt at the moment. But if you were saying, do you know, I think that this could happen, or I think that this could be an issue, and you being that person that can spot that. Because the only way, ChatGPT is not going to ring you up and go, I was having a think last night.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Actually, do you know what I mean? So you can do that, but it can't right now.
No, and that's a scary thing, isn't it? Are we going to get, and I don't know if we will ever get to that point. Like, how would that ever happen? Like, I'm not a massive believer in it at the moment. Like, I get it, and it's beneficial to me as it is at the moment. But this whole kind of like driverless cars, delivery drivers, I just can't see it. Like,
I think it will. I think it is coming. I really do believe that, because I don't think people realise how almost 100% perfect they're going to be. If you think about factories like automotive industry, they've been using automated machines for years that can do the job in like fractions of a second. So the cost saving for companies is going to be huge over actual people. So a lot of people go, oh, you can't, because what about, for example, you are a lorry driver, and then the driver's not going to be in the cab because it's going to be driverless. But what about loading and offloading? Well, there will be an AI for that at either end. There'll be robots, machines,
short circuit.
I definitely think it's going to be better than that. Think more iRobot. But yeah, and personalization, so tailoring solutions and support to each client's unique needs. So when I sit with a client and I do a strategy session, it's brilliant because I'm like a detective and I listen to what they're saying. I kind of feel between the lines. My brain starts pinging off with ideas on how to help, and I think of loads of different things that we can do together. But I do run it through AI to say, do you have any additional suggestions I might not have thought of? So whilst it's still going to need that creative side, that problem solving from you, it doesn't mean you can't use AI to then kind of give you the best bang for your buck because it's got your brain in its brain and it's all coming together in a really great way. So I do think you're still going to be very much needed for the problem solving, the innovative, creative solutions, being able to be, for VAs in particular, if you are a VA that's confident and you start working with a client and you can see that what they're doing is probably not the right thing. They're going down the wrong path. Their marketing's a bit shit. And you can be that right person, the right hand person, go, do you know, can I give you an opinion on this? I think you'd be better. If you can be that person, you might have thought it was scary before. It's going to be really well needed now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And there are times, aren't there, where if you have that strong relationship with a client that you can actually say, they come to you and go, I've got a great idea. And then you go, that ain't going to work because of A, B, and C. But you can do it this way. And people, and I don't think, how realistically can AI really be, think about the clients we've worked with a long time, right? Can AI really be that embedded into a business that it understands what will be best for that business? Or do you know what I mean? Like, we're really involved in our clients, long-term clients, businesses and how they work and what they do and their end goal and all that kind of thing. And I just wonder how far will it actually go to be as embedded in that business as we are?
Yeah, well, time will tell, won't it? I mean, you could certainly train it, but you'd have to keep training it, and guess who's going to do that? A person.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. Yeah. No.
Yours AI.
I think if you can build an adaptable, flexible model as a VA where you can diversify your packages, your services, your projects to embed AI into it and keep ahead of things, then it's going to help you to be able to still be relevant. So thinking about project management tools that are AI driven, content repurposing, tech setup particularly is really big. If you could be really good at these services and be offering these services to people, then I think you're not going anywhere anytime soon. And I do think you have to be open to evolve your offers as clients' needs and tech changes. So it's really watching what's going on in the industry at the moment in technology and then thinking, okay, well, how can I change my services to adapt to that? And not being so stuck in, no, I'm only going to offer this, I'm only going to offer that. And you don't have to be the only person who does it. Let's say it's tech and you're not techie. Well, you can take an associate that can do that. So it doesn't mean that you should be limited by your skills and you are going to fall behind. You can collaborate with other virtual assistants or take them on as associates to deliver things that maybe you're not strong enough to deliver. So there's that option too.
Yeah, or I'll just ask you to do it.
Yeah. And you can productize your knowledge. So thinking about courses, templates, workshops. So how can you productize on that knowledge? Like the things that you assume everyone know, and they don't. You only need to be a few steps ahead of someone else for them to see you as the go-to person. That's literally all you need to be. I have run in-person workshops teaching people how to build digital courses, how to build lead magnet funnels. I've developed a fillable PDF, which I've really just started pushing out. I've had it for about a year, and it's brilliant, and I've done nothing with it. And then I've printed it off today as well, because you can print it and fill it, but it's fillable, and it's such a great tool. I developed it because there wasn't one out there. So there's loads of things you could start thinking, well, how could I productize my knowledge or my services in a different way that's more digital and I'm not needed as much? And then you could be sitting on a beach in the Bahamas and have your money rolling in, couldn't you?
Yeah, just sit back and let someone else do it.
Exactly. And you'll be using AI, of course, automation, to sell those things while you're not around. So for those things, it is really beneficial, but not if you're sitting back doing the same thing.
No, you've got to evolve with it, because if you don't evolve with it, you're not going to, I'm not saying it's going to end your business or anything like that, but you're not going to be You're not going to be with it where everybody else is. It doesn't matter how high level you are in terms of AI. You've got to go with it. But I think it's not should I? It's you have to. Do you know what I mean? And don't be scared of stuff like that. Like I was terrified of automation and AI and all that kind of thing. Now I'm like, yeah, I can just quickly do. Not saying I'm a tech VA. I would never be a tech VA. I need help from you all the time. But a simple trigger, this happens, that happens, I can do because I've had a go. And God, it's absolutely throwing it down here. If you don't have a go, you're never going to know. That's what I say.
Yeah, and it's about, like, so I'll give you an example. I own a co-working business as well, and we are utilising our space weekends starting in March for board games. So it's going to be called the Board Game Spot. And it all starts with a simple idea and then gets a bit more technical. And I was thinking about the age ranges, and we're going to allow 13-year-olds to come unsupervised, but we also allow people to bring their own drinks. So when they are filling out the form to say when they're booking how old they are, I need a way to kind of make that process as automated as possible, but there has to be some manual checks based on what they've said. So what I was able to do was anyone that completes the booking and they say they are 18 plus, they just get confirmed. Okay. But anyone who says they're younger than that, I'll check that. So half of that job has been done for me straight away. And as time goes on, there'll probably be better ways I can do it. But it's thinking outside the box. How can I make that job less manual? And I think about that every single day. Even the strategy blueprints that I do for clients, I then get AI to help me create the pitch deck for it, so it's not taking up all of my time. So there's loads of things that you can do. The other thing you can do is really leverage your community, your VA community. I always say I think the VA community is one of the most collaborative out there. And if you can share your knowledge and best practices, other VAs will be encouraged to do the same. There is room for everyone, so we could all share our knowledge, pool it together, and really learn, from one another. What do you think about that?
I think the same. I mean, we've got a lovely community, haven't we, that we chat to all the time, every day, and people are engaging all the time and asking us questions and things like that. And I think, like, no question is ever silly. Or I always say to people, like, we had a new VA start this week, and I said, I'd rather you ask me 100 times about something. If you're not sure, then I'd rather you just ask me. We can do videos and things like that. But I think if you're in the right group, the right community, because there are some shit communities out there that people are horrible and they do say nasty things and things like that. But if you get into a good community and you ask a question, invariably there'll be somebody really nice out there and go, oh, this is how you do it. And if you're an associate of an agency, we all the time, don't we? Even our tech VAs go, I've come across this, I don't know what it is. Does anybody know how to help me? And we all jump on the thing, whether it's a website or, I don't really help with that much, but you know what I mean? So if you've got that surrounding and that community, you're onto a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And just being in groups, so groups that are for VAs or tech communities that you can kind of spot trends early. I mean, one of the things I set up in ChatGPT was weekly insights for virtual assistants. So it sends me weekly insights by email. It's updating itself every week, where I can really see what trends are emerging that VAs need to be ahead of. And I'll put that in our weekly newsletter that goes out to our free members every week to make sure that they're aware that this change is coming or this opportunity has arisen. One of the ones I've put in for, I've just released it, the newsletter, was that the freelance model is now really popular amongst corporate companies because they're less likely to employ people now. So more and more, especially in the UK where all the tax burdens have come in, they're looking to just outsource to freelancers instead. So the opportunities are huge right now. And it's about running with that and going, okay, now I know that insight, what can I do about it from like an outreach perspective? So definitely staying in touch with other VAs, collaborating on projects where you need kind of a tech and human mix, and maybe you don't have all the skills. Those are all opportunities available to you as a virtual assistant as well.
Yeah, and you could buddy up with another VA, can't you? And if you're not sure about something, and then other opportunities, if you establish a trust relationship with that buddy VA, there'll be other opportunities as well. That's something that they might not be able to do or don't want to do, or vice versa. So there's always that opportunity as well. Don't be afraid to buddy up with somebody. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I say anyone should be doing, whether you're a VA or not, is personalising that client experience, like the onboarding. We've been on, our onboarding's been automated for like the last 4 years, 5 years. Yeah, I work with quite, sometimes really quite established people that are just manually doing it all. So from email to quote to proposal, it's just all manual, and ours isn't manual at all, and it just makes a seamless journey for the client. They know exactly what to expect. Utilizing AI and automation to do that just makes it a more reliable service for the customer. So you might even be able to offer a service where you can create, efficient, personalized AI automated onboarding experiences for people that haven't got that in place. That's just a package on its own.
But the other thing is, and I think this is proof in the pudding from where we had that meeting with a client yesterday, who is a long-term client who's now moved on to something else now. You can actually look at, if a client decides to go in a different direction, you can actually, this is something I thought about yesterday, you can look at that, how you've worked with that client and what you've implemented, and make them like a process booklet, and sort of say, you're doing it manually all this way. If you think about how they were doing it yesterday, I mean, mental, isn't it? If you think how busy they are actually, you can actually sit and say, well, look, this is what you're doing manually. This is what I can do for you. Send them that as a proposal for them to look at. And that's another way of kind of getting in the door with AI. We could automate all of this, and take that, that process away for you.
Yeah, and but in amongst that process, there might need to be a personal element, maybe a phone call that happens from a person. So you kind of map that process out for them, which is what we're doing for the people that we spoke to yesterday. The other thing is things like regular check-ins. So our process for onboarding clients is they pay. When they pay, they automatically get the welcome email. They automatically get the contract sent out. The system then checks to see if they've signed the contract, emails them if they don't. It tells us if after so long they still haven't done it. Over a month, it sends them emails just checking in. How are you? Don't forget, this is the other ways you can contact us. This is the best way to work with your VA. And right at the end of that, Kirsty gets an email to say, now continue on a personal level. Because sometimes when you're juggling lots of clients, it's hard to remember to do that. So if you have a real good process in place, like for us, that's AI or automation in our case, that's saying, Kirsty, don't forget you need to go and do this with the client now. It can give her like a copy and paste template, but it's something she really has to tweak and personalize. Now she's got to know the client. So that's the other way that I would be thinking about using it. And I don't have to worry because I know all of this is going on in the background. I'll never have to sit there and think, I wonder if the client's okay. I wonder if they're happy, because I've got Kirsty, who is my human touch that I need in my business. And then I've got AI. I've got that perfect blend that is helping me scale my business. That's what you need to be selling to clients. Have you got the blend right?
You're absolutely right. And if you think back to how we were doing it before, I mean, a lot of my time was spent chasing, checking. But now, because it's all done automatically, it's that final part, isn't it? And I think we've got a really nice balance now where the clients are being informed about things that are happening and things that we're doing and making sure they're okay. But then we also have that email from me that we send out, to them and say, I'm here if you need anything, feel free, everything's confidential, if you want to hop on a call. And they feel nurtured at the fact that, all right, they're going to know some of it's automated. Of course they will, because that's what we offer. But I think if they do have that nurturing email at the end, they know that there's actually, I'm here in my little room. They can speak freely. And I say that to VAs and I say that to clients. This is a safe space. You can talk completely freely. It's completely confidential. And they like that. It's like a blanket around them to go, blah, 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 and get it off their chest.
And we do get a lot of feedback that's why clients like working with us. So it's really showing the value of the return on investment they're going to get from that relationship. I think mindset's really big. You need to, if you are worried about AI automation, feeling like you're going to be left behind, not sure if there's a place for you in the world, it is changing that mindset and seeing change as opportunities. So thinking about things like change is constant. Change is always happening, but those who adapt are the ones that thrive. So if you can be adaptive to the changes that are happening, you will thrive. And we certainly have been. I'm not saying it's easy, because the technology was something you could kind of run with, but now you're running after it because it's so far in front. And don't be afraid to experiment. Fail fast and try again. Do you know, when I first started automating, it was in a client's account and it was all wrong. It was not good.
If you don't try, you're never going to know. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And celebrate your wins. tell other people about it, and inspire other people to also be having a go. I just want to encourage anyone listening today to just go and pick one AI tool and experiment with it, and then come back next time and share your experience and share it in your current communities that you're in as well. I think the future's definitely bright for AIs if they are willing to have that blend between being tech savvy and the human approach as well. I think that's where I think that's where the sweet spot is.
Yeah, I agree. You've got to have that mix, haven't you, of, you know, the tools that help you but have that personal touch as well.
Yeah, definitely. But there are people that don't want to use AI. There is a demand for non AI and more human centered services. So
Mm,
if you're brave enough to kind of niche purely into a non AI world and be an advocate for non AI, which might feel scary, there is a market for that out there.
mm,
There are people out there that don't agree with it. There are people that are conscious of the data centers that have been used to power AI for the cooling of the data centers by using large volumes of water and how that is impacting us on an environmental level. So
mm.
you can certainly tap into those people that are going to need support, and then thinking about what they need. Well, they want more personal approach. They want that personal human touch, and only a VA or a real person can provide that. So I
Yeah.
think there is a market for that. Tasks like human relationship building, creative brainstorming, sensitive communications,
Mm,
bespoke project management. They're all going to be highly valued. So if you can think about industries that might be working in those kind of
yeah.
clusters, how can you get your way in saying, I know everybody out there is using AI right now, but I'm not one of them. And I'd
Mm.
love to work with you.
You're right, but market it in the right way. Like, do some research. Not saying you've got to use AI for it, obviously, but do your research and market yourself in the right way so you're targeting the right people.
Yeah.
And that's a niche, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's a niche. I mean, things like in-person events, you're not going to have a robot standing next to you, are you? So not right now, anyway. Maybe in 5 years' time, but not right now. So maybe you offer in-person events. You come and help people at exhibitions and things like that. Some people still want really traditional approaches, like handwritten notes, and they don't
Yeah.
want it all. That's on a document. So it's really thinking of outside the box, but doing your research, like you just said. Where are those communities? What are they talking about? And getting
Mm,
in amongst them. I think there's a website called, it's either Answer the Public or Ask the Public. And what you
mm.
do is you put in there a search of some keywords that we're talking about, and you'll see what comes up. What's the most popular search phrases that are coming up? And you can use that in your marketing, in your keywords, on your website, in your social posts. So go check that. I can't remember if it's Ask the Public or Answer the Public, but
Let's
it's
ask
really quite
AI.
useful. Well, yeah, no, it's not. It's just a information gathering tool. But you don't have to be fully against it. You can be like, you can emphasize your adaptability.
Mm,
I'm also, conservative when it comes to AI, but I do use tech where it helps.
mm,
I am always here for tasks that need the personal touch as well.
mm. I am as well, and I think I'm very involved in my clients' businesses, and I like to know kind of what's going on. I'm just not sure ChatGPT could do that. I can ask it questions about it, of course, but I think
Mm.
that personal touch is always going to be around.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think it is always going to be around.
Mm,
But we've given you lots of food for thought today on whether or not you want to stay fully human, have that blend of tech and AI and the human touch, or whether you want to just steer clear of AI altogether. Whatever you decide, I think there's room for everybody.
mm,
So we're going to wrap up there. Nobody asked any questions this week, but if you wanted to, you can always DM us if you don't want to ask publicly. Next week, we're going to be here to talk about email lists for VAs and why you need one and what to send. So many VAs do not focus on building an email list. They
mm.
think that's something they have to do for their clients, and they don't realize it's something that you also need to do for yourself. So we're going to talk about the value of doing that next week. And we'll see you then. Have a great weekend, everybody.